Yeah, guys. Oh my God. Playoff day 2 did not disappoint. Oh my God. Had the Sixers game, had the New York game, Madison Square Garden. Who I'm excited to talk about this. The Grizzlies beat the Jazz. Oh man. And the Lakers lost? It's crazy. Let's get into it. We're going in order. You guys know how it is. Box score Washington for Washington against Philly. Washington loses 118 to 125. And probably the most regular game of the day. The expected outcome kind of happened. The Sixers pull off the 7-point win with a huge carry load from Tobias Harris, who had like 28 in the first half, 37 for the game, 15 for 29 shooting in 37 minutes, with 6 rebounds to go with that. He was absolutely carrying while Joel Embiid was stuck in foul trouble during the beginning of that game. He picked up 3 quick personal fouls in the first 2 quarters. He had to sit for most of the game. Dwight Howard took over most of that time in those 18 minutes that he did play. He wasn't playing that well, I would say, per se, but he did hold the fort down while Joel Embiid was under foul trouble. He had 7 points in that game. But the story is Tobias Harris. He just went off. He absolutely helped the Sixers. If the Sixers didn't have Tobias Harris in that first half, they would have lost completely. And when Joel Embiid got back in the game in the second half, he was able to take over. He ended up with 30, 9 to 16 shooting on a bunch of free throws. I mean, he was putting everybody to the bench, whether that was Daniel Gafford, Robin Lopez, or Rui Hachimura or Alex Len. They were all getting in foul trouble because they can't stop Joel Embiid one-on-one, and he ended up with 30 for the game. Ben Simmons, it looked like he played a really good game. Like, it's one of those things that doesn't show up in the stat sheet besides the fact that he had 15 assists and 15 rebounds. That's crazy. He only had 6 points, though, on 3 of 9 shooting, but, he's one of those guys. He's not going to, light it up in the points category, but he's going to find everyone, get rebounds, push the pace for the Sixers, all that stuff. Seth Curry, he was having a bad game in the first half, like every other Sixer, besides Tobias Harris, but he ended up hitting 3 threes on 15 points, 6 of 13 shooting. He was getting to the middle. He was hitting 2-point shots. He was on fire in the second half. Other than that, Danny Green hit a couple clutch threes. We got some work out of George Hill and Tyrese Maxey. Matisse Thybulle playing as good defense as you can on Bradley Beal as possible, as well as Ben Simmons, of course, the defensive player of the year. We all know he's the defensive player of the year. And on the Wizards side, man, Russell Westbrook, he did not have a triple-double, and he didn't have really his best game ever. He had 16 points, 14 assists, and 5 rebounds on 7 of 17 shooting in 43 minutes. It wasn't his best game ever. That I kind of attribute that to the defense that was being played against him, but he was getting some looks that he was just missing. Like, he did miss 10 shots in this game, and that's not, it's not, typical for Russell Westbrook to have a horrible, playoff game. He does have good playoff games. It does happen. He's a playoff performer, but not tonight. He was 7 of 17. Bradley Beal doing most of the work for the Wizards. As usual, dropping 33, 13, and 23. He was getting defended like crazy, but he was just putting moves on people that were just insane. No one could do anything about it, and Bradley Beal is going to score no matter what. He's a great player. That's what great players do. 33 for him on 13 of 23 shooting. Also, I thought that Alex Len had a good game. He was 4 of 6 from the field with 12 points in his 16 minutes that he played. Yes, only 16 minutes. Those guys were in foul trouble, as well as Robin Lopez, who only played 12 minutes, 3 or 4 shooting on 6 points. They did as much as they could while they played, and Daniel Gafford going perfect from the field, 6 for 6, 12 points in 20 minutes. The centers, they did a good job when they were on the floor, but it was being on the floor that was the problem for them. Rui Hachimura had 12 points. Raul Neto only had 7 points in his 22 minutes. Davis Bertans, he went 50% from 3, 50% from the field, 14 points in his outing. And Ish Smith was providing the pace. He was getting open layups in the fast break. The Sixers defense in transition is just horrible. It has been all season, but it hasn't changed in the playoffs. They were getting wide open layups, just pushing the pace after missed shots or made shots even. They were just pushing it, getting wide open layups. One guy would get beat and it was over. They would just get a layup, and that was that. But other than that, yeah, Sixers pull off the win, the expected win here, 125-118 against the Wizards. For the Wizards to win next game, Russell Westbrook is going to have a better game, and the centers for the Wizards are going to have to do a better job of staying out of foul trouble against Joel Embiid if they want a chance to win. I do have the Sixers winning this in 4 to 5 games, probably. They'll lose probably 1 game at Washington, and that'll be it. But yeah, if they want a chance, Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook are going to have to be in sync, and those guys are going to have to get out of foul trouble. All right, we're going to move on to the next game, Lakers at Suns. Chris Paul, early in this game, got hurt. He was not himself this game. If you just look at him play, he didn't go to his mid-range elbow pull-up jumper. We all know that's his favorite shot, and he just wasn't going for it. He only took 8 shots this game, scored 7 points. The real reason they were able to pull away was the play of DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker. Devin Booker ended it with 34 on 50% shooting in 45 minutes, and DeAndre Ayton was 10 for 11 from the field, only missing 1 shot with 21 points in 37 minutes, and had 16 rebounds against Anthony Davis, who had a horrible game being defended by DeAndre Ayton. In 39 minutes, went 5 for 16, only dropped 13 points, 0 for 2 from 3, 7 rebounds, and LeBron James not having his best game of his life. He seems a little, rusty a little bit, or not rusty perhaps, but like a little jacked up from his injury. Seeing that he only had 18 points, wasn't that aggressive, 6 for 13 from the field. Andre Drummond, it looks like he had a good game on paper. He didn't really have a good game on paper. It clogs up the Lakers offense so much to have Andre Drummond on the field, especially, not on the field, but on the court when Anthony Davis is on the court. It just doesn't work. Anthony Davis really needs to man up and play center because the Lakers play best when Anthony Davis is at center, but we know how AD feels about that. And I just think he's kind of soft for it, if I'm being honest. But he needs to play center because AD and LeBron and Andre Drummond with Dennis Schroeder and Caldwell Pope is not the best lineup that the Lakers have. Their best lineup is taking Andre Drummond out and sliding in Alex Caruso in his place and having Anthony Davis move up to the 5. But because of that, Anthony Davis' bad game being defended by DeAndre Ayton, who had a really good game, again, only missing 1 shot and 16 rebounds, 21 points. And Devin Booker, of course, having the game, in his first playoff game, having an amazing game. Off the bench for the Suns, it wasn't that, great. They do provide great energy and great production, but only 19 points from the bench in this game. And there are 99 points that they scored, most of it coming from the starters. Most of it really just coming from Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, who combined for 55. But, the other Phoenix players, they play their roles. That's what they're meant to do. Jay Crowder hit a couple clutch threes with CP3 hurt at the end. They were playing good on defense. The last play of the game was like a strip from like a LeBron pass. I think he was like targeting Caruso or something like that on a cut. He got stripped. And, yeah, that was that game. For the Lakers, I think they just need to get in a rhythm, really. They weren't even really in rhythm when they played the Warriors in that playing game, but they were able to get past them because of that LeBron shot that he made from way outside the three-point line. So they were able to slide from that, but they didn't really look like, the Los Angeles Lakers that we know, the championship team that won last year, with AD being as dominant as possible, who had his second bad game in a row. And LeBron not being LeBron, of course. LeBron, only dropping 18 points. He did have 10 assists, but we need LeBron to be aggressive. We know when LeBron's not aggressive, the Lakers don't win. And LeBron teams usually don't win when he's not aggressive. So LeBron's health, AD's health, taking Andre Drummond off the floor, as well as Montrezl Harrell for the most part, even though it looks like they play good games because they don't miss a lot of shots. But they're just in the way of Anthony Davis, honestly, and that's why they keep losing. When they play Andre Drummond a certain amount of minutes. 20 minutes is too much for him. He can play like 10 minutes a night and they'll be okay. But yeah, for them to win, Andre Drummond off the field, LeBron and AD need to get healthy. And as for the Suns, hopefully CP3 gets better because he was not himself. He was not able to shoot. He was losing the ball constantly when he was dribbling. It was a bad night for him going down like that. I thought he wasn't going to come back, but he did. And they're going to need him throughout the series if they want to win. Suns 1-0, 99-90 against the Lakers. All right. Even though I'm a Sixers fan, my favorite game of the night, and I mean my favorite game of the night, Hawks and Knicks. Oh my God, this game was awesome. Trae Young, ice cold, hits the clutch, and I mean the clutch floater to win the game. Absolutely snatched the life out of Madison Square Garden. They were loud and ruckus, and he hit that floater, and it was over. They just went silent. And you can hear him say it got real quiet in there. It got real quiet. I can't say the word, but yeah. Trae Young dropped 32 points, 11 to 23 shooting in his 35 minutes that he played, with 10 assists in his first ever playoff game. Bogdan Bogdanovic was huge. He had a couple huge threes. 18 points for him, 4 of 9 3-point shooting. The Knicks were doing a good job defending their 3-point shooting, the Hawks, because they do have great 3-point shooters. They only shot 35% from 3, 12 of 34. They were doing a good job defending it, but they were just getting in the paint too easy. And I mean too easy. Like, if they would have been able to like have a good shot or good rim protector in the paint for this game, they would have won this game easily with their defense, but they were not able to stop them from driving to the paint and just getting layups and floaters and everything they wanted. Putbacks, you name it. For the Knicks, Julius Randle had a really bad game. 6 of 23 shooting, 15 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. It kind of seemed like the nerves of MSG kind of got to him. He was rushing his stuff a little bit. You could see Spike talking to him before the game. You know, I could kind of see he wasn't himself really in this game. But that didn't really matter because of Alec Burks off the bench, 9 of 13 shooting in his 23 minutes, 27 points for him off the bench, as well as Derrick Rose, who had an amazing game, 8 of 16 shooting, 17 points, was clutch. They were looking for him all over the place. People were passing up shots at the end of the game, and Derrick Rose was like, fine, I'll take it. I mean, I've been here before. This is what I do. I'm Derrick Rose. None of y'all have an MVP. I do. But Derrick Rose, 17 points. As well as for the other Knicks, I want to point out Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett. They had great games. RJ's 14 points, 11 rebounds, and Emmanuel Quickly 10 points, 4-7 shooting. Good games from their shooting guards right here, but the Hawks do pull away with the win. These guys, Lou Williams, Tony Snell, Danilo Gallinari, Kevin Huerter, Trae Young, Bogdan, DeAndre Hunter, they're just stacked. The Hawks team is stacked, and I haven't really mentioned it a lot, but they're a really, really good team. This series is going to be really interesting because it's really good offensive players and Clint Capella against a really good defensive team and Derrick Rose and Julius Randle. This series is going to be interesting. Hawks win 107-105. And the last game that just ended, Grizzlies Jazz, where the Grizzlies pull off the upset of 112-109. Utah without Donovan Mitchell. He said he was ready to go but didn't play. Dillon Brooks and John Morant having big games for the Grizzlies. Dillon Brooks 13-26, 31 points. John Morant 11-21, 26 points, 4 assists. Dillon Brooks playing his defense as he always does. And Grizzlies get the upset here. They had Rudy Gobert in foul trouble. He fouled out in this game. 6 fouls, 11 points in only 25 minutes. Went 4 for 4 from the field and 15 rebounds in those 25 minutes. But without him on the floor at the end of the game, Ja in particular was able to just get to the middle and hit floaters and layups, anything he wanted, because there was no rim protection. There was an out of bounds play where the Grizzlies were like up by, I think, 1 point. It was 110-109, and someone just beat a player and just got a layup, and no one was in the paint because Rudy Gobert isn't there. He was out the game at this point, and no one was just there to defend him. So Uh, I guess really the only thing I really have to say for this game is Ja and Dylan Brooks had a great game. Jaren Jackson Jr. He played all right. He needs to play. He particularly could play better. Jonas Valanciunas had a good game. Kyle Anderson had a really smart foul on Bogdanovich, or yeah, I think it was Bogdanovich, to make him shoot free throws instead of being able to check up a three and get those 3 points. That was really smart out of him. But yeah, the only thing you can really say for the Jazz to win next game is they need Donovan Mitchell back. They need Donovan Mitchell in order to win. They need a real great scorer. I mean, they have Bogdanovich and they have Jordan Clarkson, but Jordan Clarkson was relatively cold. He was 0 for 8 from 3, and Bogdanovich had a good game, but you need your leader, Donovan Mitchell, and you need Rudy Gobert to stay out of foul trouble. Those are your main two guys. Without them, I mean, they did only lose by 3 points, so I had this really being a sweep, but without them, it's like they could pull off a game, and they pulled off a game. And that's going to do it for, oh my God, this amazing night of basketball. I'm just so hyped for the playoffs. Hopefully I'll be able to go to a game, a Sixers game, and watch. But this was amazing, especially that New York game. I loved watching it. Other than that, you guys know the drill. Stay cool, stay safe, have a good one.